agents seem to be all the rage right now, right? Anybody here running AI agents, talking to AI agents lately? Okay, not enough hands. But anyway, a lot of, we have agentic coding, agentic DevOps, agentic SRE, agentic you name it. There is a new foundation since a couple of days underneath the Linux Foundation called the Agentic AI Foundation. So yeah, now the question is, why is it so exciting? Like, aren't they just, monkeys with machine guns? Or sorry, LLMs with tools? So what's exciting? Well, I think that the exciting thing is that they're agents. Now, who can tell me what a definition, like an encyclopedia definition of an agent is? Anybody? So I'll tell you, okay, because I've prepared this. So an agent is an entity that it could be a person, a robot, or even an animal that does something on our behalf and hopefully in our best interest. And it also does this thing autonomously, okay? Now, do you know what that entity that an agent acts on behalf of is called? Anybody? Okay, so that entity that the agent acts on behalf of is called a principal. So if you're using any agent of any kind, you're now a principal. Congrats. Now, there is a concept in behavioral economics that's called the principal agent problem that talks about the fact that even though we expect the agent to act in our best interest, sometimes, and pretty often, the agent has interests of its own, and those may be conflicting with our interests, and that creates a tension, and that tension has another name in behavioral economics, and it's called the cost of agency. And what we are now seeing with LLMs is exactly this, because even though we'd expect LLMs, to be devoid of interest, the fact is they're not. They've been shown time after time to be biased, complacent, and sometimes they're just obnoxious, hallucinating liars, right? And we all know that that happens. Any idea we throw at them is a great idea, of course. Now, that means that in order to actually, effectively run agents in any kind of production, we need to have a lot of stuff in place, to make sure it's actually cost effective, and the cost of agency is not higher than the value they bring. So we need to have, security and permissions. We need to have rate limiting. We need to have all those guardrails to make sure that when they're hallucinating, they're not actually destroying anything. And we need to make the tools available. And how do we do that? MCP, anyone? Engin here was already talking about how, MCP is not good enough anymore. Probably we now have the skills. And, it's a protocol that just landed a year ago. We're already discussing, should we be replacing it? And then, when an agent works, we don't want it to feel lonely, work in isolation. So there is a new protocol called A2A, agent-to-agent protocol. And of course, we want to have observability. So lots of moving pieces in order to put agents in production. And now we, I suppose all of us here want to make the stuff we're running cloud native, right? And what does it mean to make something cloud native? Yeah, but okay, if we're talking it from an engineering point of view, basically we want this to be API driven and automated, right? So how do we do this? How do we put agents in production on Kubernetes? Well, now there is a framework for that, and it's called Kagent. Okay, it's an open source framework that allows us to instantiate and deploy and run agents on Kubernetes. It's Kubernetes native. It supports multiple LLM providers, also self-hosted LLMs with a Llama, built-in MCP integration, A2A ready. This is the architecture in a nutshell. So basically, they're controllers that allow you to create agents with this CRD. So there is an agent. There's the model that it's using, its system message, its identity basically, and the tools it has access to via MCP servers. And of course, there is a CRD for a model. Here we have a CRD for a model that uses OpenAI with GPT-4.1 Mini. And of course, there is CRD for MCP servers so that our monkey has guns it can shoot with, right? But what is still missing? So when I started, like Kagent is a pretty new, pretty young open source project. It's been accepted to CNCF Sandbox a couple of months ago. So when I joined the community, and by the way, it's a very welcoming community, and if you're looking for an open source project you could join, definitely take a look at Kagent. I said, yeah, right, we can create agents, but in order to use them, we need to chat with them. So Kagent has a UI dashboard, and you need to go in and chat to the agent. And I said, what kind of an agent is it if I need to chat to it? It's just a chatbot with tools. I want my agent to actually be autonomous. I told it what to do, now go and do the work. So that's why I said, I want my agents to be reactive and event-driven, and this is a piece that I added to Kagent. It's called Khook. Basically, it's a reactive executor for agents. It allows us to listen to events, and then whenever an event occurs, we can define which agent to talk to and what to tell it to do. So this is the CRD that manages that, defines an event, pod restart in this example, defines the agent that it will send the event to, and then there's the prompt that instructs the agent to work autonomously. It can be templated with the details of the event that occurred, and that makes our agents actually cloud-native, reactive, event-driven, real agents that hopefully will do the work for us while we go and sip on a cocktail on the beach. So yeah, links. The link to the Kagent website, our Discord, so join the community, definitely young projects. We need lots of testers, adopters, contributors. Khook, the repository for Khook. And of course, this was a short talk, so I didn't have a time for demo. If you want to see Khook in action, scan this QR code. This is my YouTube where I show how it actually works, catching Kubernetes events and reacting to them. And if you want to talk to me about that, or maybe about Kubernetes optimization, this is my LinkedIn profile. I'll be happy to have a chat.